Emma? Are you awake? Have you woken up from your little nap? Have you?
Emma, cosa fai che sei piccola? Sei piccola!
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, what are we doing, Ro?
We're going to the food festival to eat something and have a break before going back to work. For Chris needs to finish the engine. And it's a beautiful day, glorious.
Party atmosphere.
Yeah, and we're gonna show you something.
I don't know about anyone else, but I am absolutely starving.
Well, good.
So
it's a good place to go.
To be fair, there's probably some nothing that there's probably some.
That's quite wobbly, like the wind as
I'm not saying
Hello, Emma. Have you woken up to listen to the music? There's somebody singing over there.
Still long for the days we were never scared or were there before us.
It's steak and it's got Stilton cheese on it. Delicious.
I've taken pad thai.
Green curry's a real favourite of ours as well, isn't it? We were quite torn, but it's so hot today that we thought the pad thai would be better.
Yeah, it's probably street food, pad thai.
You enjoying being out and about? Back to the engine then. I spent quite a lot of time messing around yesterday with different sized sockets, and the reason for that is if it's too big, then as I'm hammering this I could crack the cylinder head. That wouldn't be good. If it's too small, I could damage this water distribution pipe or even flare it, and if it flares, and it will make it harder to get out, so I wouldn't be helping myself at all there. So this is the correct size for it, I believe. This is actually a bit holder, but it seems to fit perfectly. However, with that in there and a big lump hammer, they're still not moving. So I'm going to try and use this, which is an air duster. This is designed to dry out electrical connections and spray keyboards and things like that. If you hold it the normal way, it's just gas that comes out. If you spin it upside down, you get a very, very, very cold liquid coming out, and you can use that to cool things. So I'm going to try and cool down this water distribution pipe so much that it contracts a little bit, and see if that will help me free it up and hammer it out through the other side. This stuff works really well. You could actually quite easily give yourself frostbite if you sprayed your finger. So it is quite a powerful way of cooling things down. Well, I'm glad to say that worked. The cold spray worked in the end. It didn't work at first, and I'd started to think of a plan B, which I'll talk to you about now, just in case anybody ever has to do this. I thought I was going to have to resort to making a puller for it, and if I did have to do that, what I was planning on doing, this is an M10 tap, and I was going to tap myself a thread into this end of this, and then I could have got some M10 threaded rod, threaded that into this end of the distribution pipe, and if you had some big nuts on here, with the internal diameter of the nut a larger diameter than the external diameter of this rubber seal here, then you could have maybe 2 or 3 nuts, large nuts. Then you could put a penny washer on the end, and then with the M10 thread you could get an M10 nut and put that on the end of the threaded rod, and that M10 nut in combination with the washer would jack against the large nuts here, and that would pull and withdraw the distribution pipe. You could also, if you wanted to, you could make a slide hammer using that. You could screw in some M10 threaded rod to about here, and then you could just put an M10 nut on the end, and you could put a big heavy weight onto the threaded rod, and you could kind of slide it along and whack it, and that would withdraw it. But fortunately I didn't have to do that. I got the rest of that can of air duster, squirted the entire can in here, got it really very, very cold, and then I gave it a good few whacks, and it started to move, so hopefully this will come out now. Oops, I've just managed to hammer a socket into there. There are 2 holes visible at this stage, one of which faces directly upwards and the other one which points out here 90 degrees to that, facing starboard. When I come to reinsert this distribution pipe, it's specified in the manual which way the holes need to go. Not these holes, it's the internal ones, but I will be able to use the position of these 2 holes as a reference anyway for when this is going back in. Threaded rod, super handy. This is stainless steel threaded rod, M8. I've always got some M6 and M8 threaded rod on the boat. You can do a billion different things with it, so if you don't have any, I recommend you get some. It's really cool. I can see straight away that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes which point downwards in the engine. They are partially blocked, but not too bad. But the other 3, these are the 3 which face inboard. I believe that these would run in the direction of the injector sleeve, so these probably squirt nice cooling water onto the injector sleeve area. Anyway, they are not holes at the moment because they're blocked. So 1, 2, 3, all blocked with kind of deposits. So this all needs to be cleaned out, but I'm actually happy because doing a job like this, you want to find problems. We had intermittent overheating, so I know that once I get these cleaned up, then the system will work more as it was designed to. So it's nice to find problems when you're looking for them, because if you've got problems that you've seen, then you've got something to fix. Well, it's time for all these parts to get an acid bath. Here's the exhaust elbow. You can see there's quite a lot of deposits there, and here these are all blocked, and also here you can see the diameter has been reduced as well. Same with this. The same with this. And of course we've got this cooling water distribution pipe to clean up and get ready to go back in. So I'm going to be using brick and patio cleaner, which was cheap. It was £6, and this is hydrochloric acid. So I will be careful while I'm doing this, and I will be following these safety precautions, and I'm going to soak these things in there overnight, I believe. I'll see how quickly it's starting to react when I put it in there, but I think I'll leave it overnight. Okay, I've got my gloves, got my safety specs, and this wasn't mentioned on the instructions, but I've even got myself some bicarbonate of soda, so if I spill some acid I can neutralise it with this. I think the main thing is to just be careful not to spill it though, isn't it really? Yeah, that's dissolving that nicely, so I think I'll just throw it in the bucket. As the exhaust manifold isn't quite covered there, I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this. That'll dilute it a little bit, but it will just mean that the manifold gets completely covered and all the crud gets dissolved off it. There we are, that's only been in there about a minute, and you can see how well that works. It's cleaning it up beautifully. I think leaving these overnight might be a bit exaggerated. I could come back to an empty bucket. This is working beautifully. There's been no mechanical cleaning there at all. That's just the acid that's clearing these holes. Pretty good. Well, it's raining this morning, which is useful because that helps us identify leaks. We have two of these small portholes that are leaking, the one on this side and the one on that side. So that's another thing to go on the to-do list, but for now I'm just going to do a little... oh, hang on, there's another drip here as well. Okay, 3 then. So for now I'm just going to do a quick bodge job just to stop it from dripping on us. Another cool thing about these little portholes is you can open them when it's raining without water coming in. So we can vent the boat while Rossella is cooking and making steam. Another advantage about this weather, as well as checking for leaks, Emma seems to like to sleep in it, which means we can do lots of things.
C'è qua. Chi è che si è svegliata? Buongiorno amore. Ma quando hai dormito questa mattina? Non ci credo, anche io avrei voluto dormire con questo meteo.
Some zucchine, Emma? Mmm. Yummy, yummy, yummy. They're gorgeous, aren't they? And it's healthy and it's yummy. And you eat them very quickly, don't you? Mmm. Are you in a good mood? Oh yeah, and do you want to tell everybody why your hair's a bit funny looking? Is it because you were sitting on Daddy's knee and the window above us was dripping on our heads? Is it?
But now it's bath time.
Gonna have a bath soon, aren't you?
Bagnetto, bagnetto.
Splish, splash, splish, splash. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Emma, can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? Basically, it's time to test the thermostat, and I'm doing that whilst Rossella is in the shower because she's very particular about how kitchen utensils are used. So I'm about to try that now while she's not here. Well, there you go, you can see through the gap there. The thermostat is opening. If I cool it down, there you go, it's closing and it's nearly closed there. So despite being a little bit ugly, this thermostat is working perfectly. Now it's time to get these washed before Rossella gets back. She'll never know until she watches this video, and then I'll be in deep trouble. Well, I'm just putting together an order here for parts that we need and bits and bobs. Fortunately, Chatham Maritime Marina, not only did they have really good Wi-Fi, which makes this part of the job very easy, they're also happy to receive parcels for their customers, so that makes life very easy, because one of the things that can be difficult when you're cruising is when you need parts, you don't always necessarily have an easy way of receiving them, even if you find them at a decent price online. Speaking about decent prices, I just wanted to share a little tip with you. We always like to save money, and here's one example of that. If I just show you an example of a head gasket here, this, if you were to buy it from this website, which is Marine Parts Europe, it would be €175. That's about £150, which for a gasket is ridiculous. But if you go elsewhere, you can find a head gasket to fit the same engine, and that costs just £25. On this instance, this is unusual for this website, but in this case it's a backorder item, so you'd have to wait 2 weeks for it, which I'm not going to do. But if I just click here, they also have this kit, which is a complete head gasket kit, which comes with the head gasket, the rocker cover gasket, the manifold, the exhaust elbow gasket, and all the rubber seals and bits and bobs that you have to take off to get at these items, and the total for that is £68. So, you know, it's half the price, less than half the price of just the head gasket from Volvo. So that's one example of how we save money. I'd like to ask you guys something now. I'm having to buy another one of these. This is a Joby Gorilla Pod, very good. We need this all the time for doing camera work, but for a while now this has been happening. The legs fall off, and it happens at the worst possible moment. Several times we've nearly lost our expensive new camera because of this. So we're having to buy another one. We've only tried one kind of metal in foam version, which was rubbish and broke fairly quickly. This is the best one we've had so far, but there must be something better out there. It would be nice for these components to be made of metal, really, but I haven't found anything like that yet. So if anybody does know of something like that on the market which isn't too expensive, please let us know and we'll buy one. Thank you. Join us next time as we explore the historic town of Chatham and continue with our engine overhaul. If you'd like to help keep these videos coming, you can do so on Patreon, where you can access patron-only benefits for just $1 per month. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. Ciao!
Ciao!